So you want to understand debits and credits in accounting? It's fundamental for any accountant. We're going to explore debits and credits. I'll give you a mnemonic to help you keep them straight that I still use to this day. But first, we need to rewind and take a look at Accounting 101, the basic accounting equation and accounts. Getting a quick recap on these will help you understand debits and credits and how they come into play. So let's take a look. All right, so as I said, we need to rewind to the very beginning of Accounting 101 and take a look at the accounting equation. Assets equals liabilities plus equity. Under that, we have accounts. These accounts are going to roll up into the three categories of assets, liability, or equity. For example, your cash, accounts receivable, inventory, that's all going to roll up into assets. This is helpful to know because as we introduce debits and credits, what they really are is just terminology to increase or decrease accounts. We're going to look at the mnemonic in just a second, and it's going to help you remember if the debits or credits are going to increase or decrease the accounts. If you're getting something useful so far, make sure you hit subscribe and like this video. All right, so cash account. If we were to just look at cash account and we wanted to increase it, we're going to debit it. We'll credit it if we want to decrease the cash account. When we increase or decrease the cash account, it's going to increase or decrease assets. Accounts payable, on the other hand, is switched around. A credit is going to increase accounts payable, and a debit is going to decrease accounts payable. This in turn will increase or decrease liabilities. It's the same thing for equity. That being said, I think it's easier to jump into the mnemonic now, and I'll show you exactly which ones are increased or decreased. Let's have a look. There's 6 letters I want you to remember. DEA-LER. Dividends, expenses, assets, liabilities, equities, revenue, dealer. This mnemonic helped me when I was in Accounting 101. Still helps me too today, and I'm sure it's going to help you. So how we use this is we split it down the middle. A debit is going to increase your dividends, expenses, and assets, and a credit will decrease it. We're going to flip that around for liabilities, equity, and revenue. Your debit will decrease these accounts, and a credit is going to increase these accounts. If you can remember dealer and remember at least the left side, that a debit is going to increase the accounts, a credit is going to decrease the accounts, then you can flip that around for your liabilities, equity, and revenue. Under that, you just need to know what your accounts roll up into. For example, your cash would roll up into assets. Now that we've laid out the mnemonic, I just want to go over a few examples with you guys and put you to the test. All right, in our first example here, we're looking at the cash account. It has a balance of $500. You want to increase the cash account by another $500. Are you going to debit it or credit it? If you said debit, you got it right. Fantastic. I hope you nailed that first example with assets. We're going to take another look now and switch gears to liabilities. So I have out my trusty notebook here. I'm going to write out a problem to you, and then I want you to decide if it's going to be a debit or credit. Oops. Okay, so we have accounts payable. We already know that's an account in liabilities. It's sitting with a credit balance of $1,250. If we want to increase accounts payable, which would then increase liabilities by $750, would we debit liabilities or would we credit liabilities? Hopefully it's pretty obvious to you because the normal balance is sitting as a credit. This here is called a T account, and we're going to get into it in a later video. But in this one, if you picked credit, then you're spot on, and that'll bring the balance up to $2,000. So we're going to credit accounts payable. It's going to increase the account. It's going to increase liabilities. And then we'll have our new balance of a $2,000 credit in accounts payable. Okay, we have one example left. Let's move to that one. All right, so we're going to wrap up with one final example, and that's going to be in the equity section. We're going to take a look at the account common stock. Say we want to increase common stock by $1,000. What would we do? Are we going to debit it or credit it? Let's go back to our mnemonic dealer, DEALER. If you said credit, you'd have this final example correct. One thing to keep in mind whenever you're making any of these types of transactions is that they need to be balanced, just like the accounting equation. For example, say you have a transaction that has $5,000 in debits. There also needs to be an equal credit side with $5,000. Now that might be two credits to different accounts, but at the end of the day, the debits and credits need to be equal for a transaction. All right, I'm sure you did an excellent job on those questions. You used the mnemonic. You probably got all three of them right, and you're ready for something more challenging, right? If not, go back, give them another try, and see where you messed up. Keeping that mnemonic handy is not only going to help you in your accounting classes, but it's going to help you when you get into public practice. It's going to help you keep those debits and credits straight, know which accounts are increased or decreased by debits or credits, and you won't be mixing them up anymore. If you enjoyed this video, got something useful out of it, hit the like, subscribe. Any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'll be sure to get back to you, and I'll see you in another one.